Wow, that race is fun. Definitely hit the jackpot today. Now it's time to get swagger with sweet cosmetics. Huh? Wait, why are the items overpriced? What? So you're telling me that the big guys at Activision added more microtransactions just to improve the experience to get people to pay more money? But the game is doing fine. Curse you, Activision! Ugh. Don't you just hate it when games you love have some annoyances attached to it, or in this case, try to screw with the fans and gamers alike? This is no exception, despite the fact that I enjoyed this game so much. Ever since we got the Crash Remake trilogy, fans hope for one of Naughty Dog's final games on the PlayStation being CTR to be next on the remake table. Sure enough, by December 8th, we got the announcement that CTR will get a remake and everyone creamed their pants in nostalgia. This is great news, and when the game came out, it's everything that the fans wanted in a remake, and things seems to have a bright future for the game. But one decision by the higher-ups skewed this game to a screeching halt and soured everything about this game. Not to mention that I think the game support was cut off way too short in my opinion. Anyway, let's see how the game is now after a full year of support. Also to note, I'm skipping the story on this one only because it's not that deep. It's just Oxide challenging them to a race for the planet, which I still don't get because Crash and Frez could easily take this guy, especially having no army with him. Like, Oxide, did you invade other planets with race challenges? Don't you think it might have been a little risky? Good thing everyone accepted this challenge rather than what it could have been.
Greetings, creatures of this planet. I come to compete. So, you pesky Earth slugs like to race, eh? Well, I, nitrous oxide...
The remake really nails it in the graphics department. Since the trilogy remake, the game already made a very good impression, as you can tell that Beanox must have gotten notes from Vicarious Visions. Rest in peace, guys. The graphics managed to amplify all the cartoony looks in the game. Every character managed to express themselves so much, and it makes it better when costumes have their own animations. Really, each character gives a lot of little details of what their personalities are, and I just really like that. The courses look so amazing. Every single one of them got a massive upgrade from their PS1 counterparts. One of the best examples of this is Hot Air Skyway, being that it now looks exactly what it's supposed to look like compared to the original. Really, you race pinstripes here, and yet the course doesn't really match the theme. Remake, however, now you can tell it's a casino that he owns personally that takes place in the sky, and that is really cool. There are even a lot of background details and NPCs interacting. Plus, not only CTR tracks got remade, we also got CNK tracks to add to the roster. They had to be reworked as the anti-gravity gimmick wouldn't work with the original gameplay, but I say they did a really good job in capturing the original looks of these tracks. Even the new tracks continue to look as good as the old ones, with my favorite being Gingerbread Joyride. I mean, really, it's a place I want to go and eat. Look at those sumo gelatins. The menus, while simplistic, look super clean and everything is easy to navigate. With the looks being good, how is the sound? Well, it's great as far as I'm aware. The voice acting did get a lot of focus, and while it's just grunts and excitement noises, the fully acted lines are higher quality. I do like how each costume has their own little sound effects and voices. That is a really nice touch. The soundtrack is pretty damn good. I don't know how the original fares in terms of the PS1 instruments, but the newer hardware, we got some really good tunes here. The best examples are the newer tracks that we got through DLC, and some of these are just absolute bangers. Some examples includes... just 3 of the best music in my opinion. The composer sure knows how to capture the Bandicoot feel because holy shit, fast-paced, energetic tracks really gets your blood pumping for a race. Overall, the graphics are amazing and the music and sound is excellent. Okay, so the controls for this game are weird, but I think I know why it is. So everything is in place for a racer like this, and I like the fact that the drift and jump buttons are one of the same, meaning the turns are as natural as you can get. Going fast is the name of the game, and the drift buttons are placed just right with the L and R buttons. However, there is a catch with the control scheme, and that is the main startup button. I mentioned the controls are weird, and this is why. To start up your cart, you have to press the B button. Not the triggers, not the A button, but the B button. Now I'm going to assume that this is because of the PlayStation, since usually it's the X button that you press to start on the gas. Nintendo controllers always has letters to represent the actions, and I guess Beanox wanted to keep the original control scheme for all consoles just for easy programming. I will admit this is the hardest part to get used to at first. After about 5 hours, it becomes more natural. However, one part of the control scheme I can't see the grass is jumping. Now I mentioned it's tied to the same buttons as drifting, and I think the programmers didn't get this accurate at least 20% of the time. Now don't get me wrong, as I still think it's good to tie drift and jump to the same button, but so many times when I try to jump off cliffs, it sometimes doesn't register that. I messed up my sense of speed because of it. Really, it should have been patched, but sadly we didn't get that, and there are other things that should have been patched also, which I'll get to in a sec. Overall, controls-wise on the Switch, at least, it's something that you have to get used to, especially when you play other racers that have the gas button with the obvious trigger buttons. Now onto the gameplay, and I gotta say, it really makes me appreciate the developers who takes other ideas and just improve them on a huge scale. Now, if you play Mario Kart, which you gotta compare it to something, this is basically that, only more emphasis on speed and shortcuts. This game's entire gimmick is trying to do shit in the fastest possible time, and I know from the gameplay I'm not showing that at the best, but come on people, I'm casual, you know. Anyway, I like the game focuses on that, and it makes winning races a lot more satisfying and frustrating when you messed it up. I have never felt this tense in any kind of racing game other than Astral 9, but that doesn't count as that game has some pay-to-win mechanics. I'll get to you later. Each of the tracks at launch has really tight designs that makes a run of these in blue flames so satisfying. Yeah, I should talk about that. Basically, this game's burst of speed can only be done with drifting and jumps. There are 3 tiers of fire burst that you can get. Small fire, medium fire, and blue fire, which is the one you want to get the most if you want to unlock some specific cars and end trophy skins. Oh boy, those skin unlocks. The drifting system really makes the game more skill-based compared to Mario Kart in a sense. If Mario Kart is a casual experience where everyone can be a master, Crash Nitro Fuel is basically that episode of SpongeBob where the Salty Splatoon is the roughest, toughest kart racer you'll ever play. I think it earns that a lot, especially with the BS I have to deal with these courses. Getting fast flames is so satisfying, but this leads me to talking about the engine system and its updates. Now, this game since its launch has added so much content and improvements for 3, which is something I respect them for, especially when it's improving gameplay features. Thank God for that engine update because my favorites to race with are now viable. Seriously, before this they were just pretty worthless. There's so much to do here, and one of them is the story mode. This mode is where you unlock most of the early stuff in game, but Beanox did do one update to this mode to unlock a character, which is so good that I'm sad that this is the only time they did that, but I'll talk about that later too. Another nice touch is how the boss introductions are played out. All of them revamp and give way more emotion than what the PS1 offered. My favorite being Ripperoo. Now, if this is the only mode to unlock some cosmetics, then where do you get the rest? That is where the pit stop comes in. Yes, it looks like Fortnite, and yes, I'll get to it soon. Now, throughout your entire time playing all these modes, you'll get Wampa coins, and it's used to spend at the shop. This is where you get costumes, paint jobs, stickers, characters, and car parts. Customization is a major addition to this remake, and it's really awesome. There are so many combinations here that you'll just be sitting there thinking, which parts do you want to stick together? This also leads to having one of the biggest rosters of a kart racer that I have ever seen. Over 50 playable characters since the support ended, with so many characters I thought I'd never see come back. Like really, who thought Rillaru was gonna be in anything after Crash Bash? Not to mention adding in characters that supposedly got cut in the original like Hasty, or adding in characters from the freaking mobile games like Yaya Panda. I would also like to mention that she is fucking cute, and I hope that she becomes a playable character in the future Crash games. Even the fucking checkpoint crate is playable, and it's unlockable when hitting all the boxes. Seriously, I am down for joke characters being playable, and this fulfills the quota. Well done, Beanox. With all this content, this is where the Grand Prix is introduced thanks to Chicken Stew. I like these a lot as it introduced a lot of new racers and carts to use along with cosmetics. Plus, each Grand Prix is based around a theme, which is pretty nice for theme-focused costumes. Funny enough, for a greedy publisher like Activision, they avoided making all these paid up front. They're basically battle passes, and it's actually a good thing to keep players coming back. Paid games should follow this example. Thankfully, if you missed out on any of these, you can purchase them once they come back, which by now all the items are back at the store. It's nice that when these came out, the lobbies were just as filled out every minute by the day. Speaking of that, online is really fun despite the flaws. Racing against 7 others is so much fun, but getting first place was never possible for me, at least in the earlier days. You could tell who dedicated time for this game as they managed to master these courses and all their fucking shortcuts. I might as well be racing against the Flash at this point. But if you're not an online guy, which sadly that might not be the best option, you could also take on time trials and ring races. Time trials are the standards for this kind of game, but thanks to the updates, you can not only race N Trophy and Oxide, but Velo as well as the developers. Yeah, the only one I have ever beaten all the way is N Trophy. Oxide I'm still trying, but if that represents anything to the other trials, you wouldn't hear me over a month. It is nice to have these, and to mention Ring Race, I love this mode. It is good practice as it does show you shortcuts and ways to keep your blue flame on. Plus, I always play each stage to beat my scores and all of that. There's also Grand Prix and Battle Modes for some fun with friends. Battle Mode is online at least, so you can play together despite the circumstances. Really, with all this support, how can you not be satisfied? Well, I guess it's time, isn't it? Okay, let's get this out of the way. So if any of you know Activision, you'll know that they pull a shitty move of lying to people that this game will not have microtransactions. Yes, this is completely scummy, and it fucking shows how they can overrule other companies' choices because they want more fucking money. It doesn't help when the game is leaning towards kids who will probably try to ask money for those cool cosmetics. That, and it takes too long to earn coins when they give you only small amounts, with double coin weekends being the only way to go faster. It's just scummy all around, but not a massive deal breaker as far as I'm aware. This did, however, make the game lose steam, which did lead to ending support a little too early. To clarify, the Grand Prix did have plans to last long based on data mines, but due to some choices, it never did, which led to so many things that could have been done, really. This is a personal gripe I have, but I hate how limited most of the characters have in terms of skins. So many characters didn't get at least one legendary skin. I wish the updates at least included more colors, because I feel so sad for the people who love these characters yet they have limited options. It doesn't help when Coco got so many of them. I get that she's the most popular character because she is cute or people just want to fuck her, which I hope she's of age, but the fact that she got so many just pisses me off. Quite honestly, this is just my opinion, but the trophy girl should have gotten most of the costumes if they wanted to fulfill the furry first. Megumi's best girl. And it sucks that they didn't get Christmas or Mad Max style costumes, like come on! Now some characters did get lucky in getting recolor costumes, but some don't. Papu Papu didn't get recolors for his pirate skin. Really? You couldn't give him a red or black outfit? I know skins are like not the biggest thing to get annoyed over, and you're right on that. But the sudden stop of support also causes a lot of issues with how it handles online. Okay, so online has so many bugs that I'm surprised that Beanox left this the way it is. I know Activision probably pushed them to another project, but you're telling me that after 9 massive updates, they didn't include anything to fix the online matchmaking system? Disconnecting lobbies even after the race is loaded and unable to load up all the racers is just really fucking annoying. These should have been fixed, but I got a good feeling that most of the time it's putting more work on those cosmetics. Just a feeling there. This also doesn't help when you have to connect online to earn your coins even in single player. Yes, you have to stay online if you want to earn any coins. Which means if at some point the server gets shut down, that's it, you are no longer allowed to get your coins. This is what worries me the most because it's lucky to have the server still running, but what about years in the future? We won't know if they will keep them up this way forever. People who bought this game day one are so lucky because since by now they should have gotten everything from the pit stop. Really, everything tied to online is what holds this game back, and that is why Beanox dropping this so soon just sets a worry state for this game. I mean, you might as well just go back to the original PS1 classic then. Now yes, golden Wobble fruits are there to make it more easy and you can actually race the same stage over and over to get these at random, but it's just not enough when I see people saving up to 200,000 just to get everything. This leads to another issue, and that is the grind, because I have, as of this recording, over 430 hours in this game, and that is when I play every day during the Grand Prix updates. It just takes so much of your time and none of these unlocks are earned through gameplay challenges. Now I get why, since most players like me are not skilled enough to do those hardest ball challenges, but I feel they could have done that with a bunch of easy challenges just to get you ready for the advanced play this game asks from you. Really, it's so risky now to play this as of now. Granted, it could be worse. You could be playing the HD console versions where it's even worse to connect to lobbies with the newer consoles. Check out Canadian Guy's video on that, he explains it far better than me. Another minor thing that annoys me is unlocking recolors. Takes way too long, but at least I can re-race many times to get them faster. Smaller courses help, people. Loading times are a little too long for my liking. It piles up when you start new races and all that. Thankfully, it doesn't do that when resetting the race if you screw up in one of those challenges or time trials, but online? Yeah, hope you love long-ass waiting times if the servers don't decide to have a seizure. Oh, and I don't know if this is a me problem, but don't play this game for hours if you're doing all the stress challenges like time trials and relics. It will hurt your hands, and let me tell you, I feel the pain. This is Gamer Problems in a nutshell, folks. Overall, the game is packed with content and gameplay is satisfying enough despite the grind, but with the online attached to it, I don't know how long it will be before this game just basically stops working in the future. That is really something to think about.
Out of here for good.
This is a hard game to recommend nowadays. I think this is a solid remake of the original and improved on a lot of aspects despite some flaws. The amount you get is well worth the $40 price tag, makes this game look like a good deal. But the microtransactions, the always online, and the grind is what holds it back the most. It really just drops the grade I give because of that, and with Beanox not going back to this game to fix some of the other issues, it's hard for me to say that this is a must-buy. Really, I put this as a cautious recommend if you're willing to go through the grind and everything, at least on the Nintendo Switch. However, I don't know how long till this video dates itself, but if the online is shut down and you couldn't get any coins anymore, don't bother with this game. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Beanox releases one more update to fix the online and let us earn coins at the max rate offline, but only time will tell. Which is why this game gets a C. A really fun and amazing game, held back by horrendous choices. Now, don't take this the wrong way, a C-rated game is still worth checking out, but know that this game got screwed hard with the microtransactions, and without that, it would have been a B+. I hope I don't see the same thing happening with Crash 4. This is the Animewolfgamer, and I hope the next day will be even better. See ya!